Good afternoon. This is Team 13 presenting our ethics case, which is the Hyatt Regency walkway collapse. I'm Sarah Melendez.
I'm Andrew Sherman.
And I'm Jimmy Baldwin.
So this is an overview of our presentation. We have summary of events, the ethics code violations, the case verdicts, group and proof perspective. I'll be doing the summary of events. So in July of 1981, in the Hyatt Regency in Missouri, there was two walkways that had just been built a year before that had collapsed during a tea party they were having in the atrium, and as a cause of the collapse, 114 people died with more than 200 injured. The cause of the collapse was the supports that were holding up the fourth and second floor walkways failed, causing the fourth floor walkway to fall onto the second floor walkway, which then fell onto partygoers under that. During the investigation, it was found that Haven Steel Company actually changed the original drawings to change the supports that were going to support the two walkways from a one bar to two bars that are separated and had a connection on the fourth floor, which caused the load to double on the fourth floor, which eventually caused collapse. However, the investigation also found that the original design for the walkways would not have met standards in the state of Missouri, which most likely would also collapse had it been in place during this time. The designer of that original design and the engineering company that were on hand that built the design was called GCE, and like I said, the original design they had would not have worked. It was also found during construction of the original atrium, the actual atrium roof collapsed, and the engineers at GCE said they were going to check all the connections during building, but that did not happen.
Alright, I'm going to talk to you about what ethics codes were violated. Essentially, there are a few different lists of codes that engineers have to follow by, and as you can see, most of them were violated. The first code in each of these, which the first code in each of them pretty much says that engineers will uphold the safety and well-being of people as paramount, as in, that's their highest priority, to make sure everybody's safe. And as you can tell by the fact that over 114 people died and 200 were injured, you can tell that they did not take into consideration the safety of people, considering the casualties that they had because of it. Another thing is that they didn't really follow through with what they said. Code 9 says that you will basically be consistent and be thorough with what you present as a professional engineer, that what you actually approve is thorough, and that you're telling the truth essentially with what you approve, your plans. And by stamping their approval on that basically two sections holding up the walkways, they basically lied about what they did because they didn't actually check it thoroughly.
So this case was brought to trial in the state of Missouri, and it ended up with GCE International, the company that the lead engineers of the construction were found guilty of gross negligence, misconduct, and unprofessional conduct in the practice of engineering. Jack Gillum and Daniel Duncan were the lead two engineers of the project, and they were also found guilty of these charges. Duncan and Gillum both lost their license, their professional engineering license, in the state of Texas, where GCE was based out of, and Missouri, where the collapse occurred. And GCE lost its certificate of authority to continue as an engineering firm, and eventually went bankrupt, paying financial claims from the accident. From our perspective, it is an adequate decision to be found guilty of those charges, since they caused so much death But we also feel that GCE should have also been charged with malpractice because they really, as the engineering firm, they really relied on the fabrication company to make a lot of the decisions on the design, which is 100% the engineering firm's priorities.